Brayden invited me to attend his enlistment ceremony, and the following day I told him that the only conclusion of an invitation would be for me to speak, and that his speech was nearly finished. Several members of the group formerly known as the high schoolers have enlisted, all without speeches or fanfare from yours truly. In light of these facts, a reasonable question is, does George show favoritism? And our response is that none of those who enlisted asked or invited us to attend. Regardless of the reasons invitations were not issued, yours truly has never wavered in supporting their choices. Once an enlistment has occurred, we messaged on social media, quote, "Today Name has begun a path that will be both rewarding and challenging, and we wish him all the best." End quote. We expressly state that the substitution of the names of Jacob, RJ, Denver, Joe, Colton, or anyone else, whether known to us or not, for Brayden, does not invalidate what is written, but verifies our observations, thoughts, and conclusions over the previous 2 years regarding the high schoolers generally, and those who choose to serve specifically. In conclusion, there is a type of personality that is ideally suited for military service. Plato designated these select individuals as guardians, whose sole purpose is to protect the Republic. The speech. During one's life, there will only be a few memorable dates that one will experience, such as marriage and the birthdays of children. These dates are difficult to forget because of the months of anticipation that lead up to the event itself. We may justly add the day of one's enlistment to our short list of memorable dates. We hold these truths to be self-evident that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. This quote from the Declaration of Independence is overshadowed by the listing of abuses endured by the colonists. Yet any actions by the Crown would not be considered abuses if either kings had a divine right to rule or their subjects had no recourse to another, higher authority. The idea of man's equality is not original to our founding fathers. However, to declare that man has rights due entirely to the dignity of man as man was revolutionary. If our founding fathers wrote that our rights come from government, then they would have no reason to describe the actions of the Crown as abuses, the king being both the beginning and end of government. By assigning man's rights as originating from the Creator, the implication is that these rights existed before the foundation of any country. Therefore, it is not within the proper authority of any government at any time to deny or interfere with these rights. The idea that people should be allowed to follow their own interests, whether political, religious, or financial, was also revolutionary. This individual self-interest is called the pursuit of happiness. Selfishness, or placing one's interests before others, is typical of mankind, and if everyone acts rationally, and given enough time, everyone benefits. The evidence for the unforeseen benefits of self-interest are well documented since our founding. No one in 1776 could foresee that 3 million unremarkable colonists would be the start of a world power, eventually more influential than the English, French, or Spanish at the height of their empires. Our nation could have become one of farmers and merchants, each seeking his own self-interest, his own pleasure. However, history clearly teaches that there have always been individuals who want to impose their values upon others, and it is unlikely there will be a lack of these individuals in the future. Citizens using their liberty to pursue their own happiness without other considerations cannot long endure, as there will come a time when enemies of the state will wish to forcibly impose their views, opinions, and worldview upon these selfsame citizens. Necessity dictates that if a nation wishes to be free now, then certain individuals are required to put the security of their country before their own naturally selfish interests of pleasure and happiness. I suggest that Brayden has acquired his unselfishness and other qualities from myself, through a type of transference that may have occurred during our infrequent conversations over the last 2 years. I feel this explanation is the best, but if it is not completely satisfactory, then I offer another suggestion. Brayden acquired his views from his peers. Of course, Brayden's peers have various and no doubt when considered as a whole, conflicting views, so it is more likely Brayden was influenced by a select number of like-minded mentors, rather than by his numerous peers. Alternately, we cannot dismiss Brayden's family as positive influences. The evidence for this is Brayden himself. Yet not everyone who has a good family enlists, and family, like peers and mentors, have conflicting opinions, even concerning such mundane topics as what to have for dinner. We state the obvious. Brayden is not unique. We all have mentors, peers, and family. However, over time and from a multitude of influences, Brayden must have accepted certain ideas as good while rejecting other ideas as bad. We are curious and we ask, how did Brayden choose certain beliefs while dismissing? I suspect the truth of this matter is that Brayden has always possessed specific traits and certain character. Take 3. I suspect the truth of this matter is that Brayden has always possessed specific traits and certain characteristics that assisted his decision to choose military service. Brayden has not acquired the prerequisites for service and duty from anything external, whether from any individual, yours truly included, or from any group, whether peers, mentors, or family. Brayden's virtues are internal and have their origin from the Creator. Therefore, Brayden has always possessed virtues, among other qualities, and the culmination of their non-contradictory expression is his enlistment. The Master commands that what is freely received should be freely given, and we understood this solely in terms of learning. And while this interpretation is not incorrect, it is not complete, as the commandment is applicable, perhaps more so, to inherent virtues. Brayden's enlistment fulfills the idea of giving freely what he has freely received from his Creator. As the Apostle teaches, Brayden has put away selfish wants and childish thoughts and begins his duties as a guardian of our Republic. On this memorable day, as we bow our heads in humility to the one who rests in eternal light, let us recall many of the blessings we have received from our Creator, both as individuals and as a nation. We ask you, in your never-ending goodness, to continue to watch over Brayden and all who serve in our armed forces. We ask you, in your internal wisdom, to assist and guide our leaders. We ask you, in your limitless power, to protect our service members and our leaders. Amen.